Do you have a kyphotic posture? Have you tried other methods to improve your kyphosis, but nothing seems to work? By the end of this video, you'll know the most effective corrective exercise to improve your kyphotic posture. For the most innovative ideas around posture, mobility, strength, and fitness, be sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you get notified when I release a new video every Tuesday. I've been a strength and conditioning coach for over 5 years now. I've worked with the pros when I worked with the Boston Red Sox organization as a minor league strength and conditioning coach. And I've worked with young athletes, average Joes and average Janes when I started my own personal training business. But aside from being a strength coach, I've dealt with posture issues my whole life. I can never quite change my posture with the traditional methods that I was finding on the internet. I was only able to improve my posture when I came across new exercises this past year. Now, postural issues like kyphosis is a structural misalignment of the spine. The spinal column is supposed to be stacked with a slight lordotic curve at the neck or cervical spine, a slight kyphotic curve at the middle spine or thoracic spine, a slight lordotic curve at the lower spine or lumbar spine, and a slight kyphotic curve at the sacral spine or pelvic spine. Basically, you should be able to draw a line from your ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle. In a kyphotic posture, the spine looks like this. The lordotic curve at the neck is increased, which increases the kyphotic curve at the thoracic spine, and increases the lordotic and kyphotic curve at the lumbar and sacral spine. All of these increased curves places heavy structural demand on the spine. The kyphotic posture is one of the most common postural issues people face today. And this is due to the increased amount of time we spend sitting and the increased amount of time we spend at our computer and phones. So here's the most effective corrective exercise for kyphosis. If you watch any other kyphosis improvement YouTube video, you're likely to see the same things. You're likely to see basic chest and neck stretches, and you're likely to see some sort of back strengthening exercise. While these strategies are good on paper, they're not really considering one of the most influential factors of posture, and that is breathing. Your body takes over 20,000 breaths a day. So if you're putting yourself in a compromised structural position like texting or computer work, your body then adapts to those postures and starts breathing a new way. So if you don't integrate new breathing strategies on top of stretching, then the stretching alone will do nothing. The following exercise is going to teach you how to expand something called the anterior mediastinum. Now, the mediastinum is found in the thoracic cavity. And so in your body, you have two cavities. You have your abdominal cavity and you have your thoracic cavity. A kyphotic posture showcases the inability to expand the anterior mediastinum. It is essential that you regain the ability to expand this very important breathing cavity if you ever hope to restore normal posture. So in order to learn how to expand this anterior mediastinum, we need to learn how to lock airflow from going into the abdominal cavity, which most people think is the right breathing method. So step one is learning how to anchor the rib cage.
Okay, so in order to learn how to properly anchor the rib cage, we're going to need a balloon and a foam block. So we're going to see now just practicing blowing up a balloon. See if we can inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth, and on the next inhale, do not allow that air to escape the balloon. On this exhale, I want to see how low you can get your rib cage. How much air can you get into that balloon? So now we're going to use the foam block, and on our inhale, on this first inhale, you're going to see me do it incorrectly. You're going to see my abdominal cavity gets inflated with this airflow, and that's where the block moves. Now on this exhale, we're going to see that block get really super low. I'm going to anchor that rib cage down, and then I'm going to try to breathe into the thoracic cavity and into that anterior mediastinum. So really work on getting that block super low, closing off that abdominal cavity, anchoring the rib cage, and then inflating that anterior mediastinum.
Now that we have learned how to successfully anchor the rib cage, we're going to learn how to anchor the pelvis.
So now we're going to work on step 2, which is anchoring the pelvis. So you're going to do that by working on an anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. That posterior pelvic tilt is going to allow you to crush the towel. The anterior pelvic tilt keeps you away from the towel. So you're going to work on finding that anterior pelvic tilt and posterior pelvic tilt. Once you've found the towel in the posterior pelvic tilt, you can use your hamstrings by pushing your heels into the ground, which further assists you in maintaining that posterior pelvic tilt. And then you're going to add in the foam block and balloon. So now we're combining the rib cage anchoring and the pelvis anchoring. So I want you to blow up the balloon, keep the foam block low, and crush the towel. Work on inflating the anterior mediastinum as you keep the foam block low and feel the towel underneath your low back. So now we're going to add in a second towel for our neck. So we're going to work on restoring that natural curve at the neck by keeping the chin tucked, and you're going to work on crushing the towel underneath the neck now. So same things apply. Anchor the pelvis, anchor the rib cage, and just feel the towel underneath your low back and feel the towel underneath your neck. Work on blowing up the balloon, exhaling and inhaling.
Now that you have mastered anchoring your rib cage and pelvis together, we're going to move on to step 3. But before we move on to step 3, I want you to comment below, and I want to know how many of you have been taught that abdominal breathing or belly breathing is the proper way of breathing. I want to know how many of you have been lied to. So the last and final step is step 3, which is the anterior mediastinum expansion.
So in this last step, you're going to use an elevated surface. You can use a table, bench, sofa, whatever it is. Just make sure that you have freedom for your arm to be off of the table. So you see that left arm, left shoulder be fully off to the side. And we're going to use all the techniques that we used in step 1 and 2. We're going to anchor the pelvis, we're going to anchor the rib cage, and we're going to just allow this left arm, which is perpendicular to the body here, to allow and search for the ground. So we're putting that left chest and shoulder on stretch here, and then we're inhaling and inflating that left anterior mediastinum. So you're really going to be challenged here in your ability to maintain proper anchoring of that pelvis and rib cage. You're going to feel like your body wants to get out of that. So do your best to recruit the hamstrings, recruit the abs with the exhale and with the pelvic tuck. And then just really work on slow expansion of now this right chest ball. And so you'll see that right elbow and right hand just slowly start to get lower with each breath. So you're going to inhale into that stretched area. Exhale, get the ribs low. And so you'll notice that each breath my arm gets a little bit lower, and we're getting a little bit closer to neutral.
So you have just learned one of the most effective corrective exercises to improve your kyphosis. If you want to learn more exercises to improve posture and how to unlock mobility in the rest of your body, be sure to download the 3 Secrets to Full Body Mobility Guide in the link below. Did this exercise improve your posture? Let me know in the comments if this exercise worked for you. If you're interested in learning more corrective exercises that actually work, be sure to like this video and subscribe.